Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Justin, aka Justin Lambchop on Twitter, and today I am filming my Day 2 recap of the 2019 World Figure Skating Championships held in Saitama, Japan. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who left a positive response yesterday on my video. That is the main reason why I will continue to do these daily recaps for the duration of the competition. So let's now discuss Day 2 happenings, because a lot happened. It was a big one. Most notably, we crowned our first round of champions in pairs. So we'll start there. Wen Jingsui and Song Han of China are world champions again, and they totally deserved this title because they skated to absolute perfection. They were so good in the free skate. Not a single step was skated out of place. It was just so on point, but not robotic at all because they were so passionate with each other and with the audience. They were super athletic, but also artistic. It's really the gold standard in pairs skating. A lot of people like to talk about their height and how that could be a disadvantage. Maybe that Song Han is just a little taller than Wen Jingsui. They've made it work, and they still have really huge elements. The twist, throw triple twist, Wen Jingsui puts one arm above her head. That's so difficult. It adds a level, and their throw jumps are still so difficult. This is a pair that's attempted quad throws in the past. They didn't do it here, but they don't need to. And actually, I prefer that they didn't so that they stay injury free. So I'm not sure what else to say about their free skate. I mean, absolute perfection. I like how the music gradually builds perfectly and steadily throughout the entire program. And my favorite part, obviously, is the last 30 seconds or so when it really picks up rapidly and Wen Jingsui and Song Han don't lose speed at all. And that's tough to do at the end of a long program. So kudos to them. I believe if I looked at their protocols, they received quite a few tens from the judges, so they were really well rewarded. And they did win in program components in the free skates. I believe the next highest program component marks came from the French pair, so Vanessa and Morgan. And I believe the Chinese had a 76, and then the French had about a 74. So that's a nice, comfortable lead in PCS for Sui and Han. So just, it's so well deserved. Let's talk a little bit about their journey to become world champions. Again, had a slow start, a late start actually to the season due to injury. They were injured a few times actually, needed time to recover, came back to competition slowly. I believe at Chinese Nationals they did not even skate their free program, just a short. And then at Four Continents they had some mistakes, but they peaked at the right time because, wow, short and long. And hey, even here at Worlds, they had such an early start draw for the short program, but that still put them in medal contention. So it's not impossible to win a competition and like skate in the early groups. It's not particularly common, but Sui and Han are also special. So good for them. What else did I want to say? I looked at their protocols, and it looks like the element that gave them the most amount of points combined with levels in GOE is the reverse lasso lift. And of course, that's at the end of the program. So perfect move, perfectly choreographed to the program to have a strong ending. And the program is choreographed by Lori Nickel. So just perfect construction. I am so jealous of everyone that's a part of that project because it's so beautiful and it's actually quite legendary. So kudos to them. Now we need to thank some Russian skaters who won the other medals. The silver medals went to, let's see, what are the names? I have the results in front of me. Evgenia Tarasova and Vladimir Morozov. Now, I said this in my recap yesterday, but I used to not pay any attention to them because I thought they were kind of boring. But now I actually find them a lot more exciting. And I think their skating in general has improved. They have such a beautiful line, extension, and I like how they physically look on the ice. They're both pretty tall, and I think the height difference is perfect. It makes for doing some of their technical elements look really, really good. But they lost they lost the competition mainly because the little mistakes that happened throughout the programs added up. So they were about 6 points behind with the overall score. And so each time he stepped out of a jump or they stepped out of a jump, yeah, that cost them some points. So it's all about being perfect. But I'd like to think if both pairs were perfect, that Sway and Han would still end up on top just because they have such passion and they do such a good job of connecting with the audience. And a lot of people like to say that the judges are the first row of the audience. That makes a difference. And speaking of connection, I do think that's an area that Evgenia and Vladimir could work on because while their free program is a soft romantic piece and they are beautiful skaters, I think they lack the connection with each other. So I think they personally have good individual connection to the music, they're not just skating along to it, but that's something they have to work on is, get some fiery tension between the two, and then they'll really become a contender for the gold against Sway and Han. But I expect Evgenia and Vladimir to continue to improve in the next upcoming seasons. I would like to see some different slash better programs, but I believe that will happen because this is the same pair that skated to Candyman not too long ago, and that was interesting. So next up on the podium, also from Russia, we have Natalia and Alexander. Not gonna say their last names because I would butcher it. And they are actually quite a bit behind Evgeny and Vladimir. They scored 228, and Natalia and Alexander had a total score of 217. And I know this Russian pair as the one who makes very interesting music choices. Both the short and the free program is kind of out there and not expected. In terms of my personal opinion, it's not what I prefer. I really don't prefer that free program music. It was just very distracting. I think it took away from some of their positive traits of their skatings because they are very fast, they're energetic, and they're nice and slender. So I like how they look on the ice. Landed all their technical elements just fine. It's just distracting. But it's an interesting choice, and if that's your cup of tea, then I don't want to disrespect anyone who enjoys those kind of programs. I personally would have liked to see the other Chinese pair land on the podium. They are Cheng Peng and Yang Jin. They were third after the short program. I really, really wanted them to win the bronze medal. Not just because I like them, because they actually skated really well. It was one of the first competitions, I think, where they were perfect in both the short and the long. So it's nice to see all of these pairs really bringing their A game at the most important competition of the year. I've said this before, but I like the contrast between the short program, Ophelia, which is a more Western piece, to the free program, which is a little bit more what I would expect them to skate to. They have great connection with each other, just like Sway and Han. Yeah, I just think they lack in the program component marks because let's compare those two. So Sway and Han received a 76 for program components, and then Chang and Yang were actually fifth in the free skate. Not that they skated poorly or anything. It's a lot of people were good, and they received the score 69. So there is some differences. Just skating skills, I think it's just going to take a few more years to get comfortable, maybe get a little more speed and gain a little more power in all of the little elements that make up the program. So it's not just lifts, not just jumps, it's connecting moves between the elements. It's, how they connect with one another. It's getting the audience really excited and behind the program. So I think that'll come with time. But the good thing is that we shall expect 3 Chinese pairs at the World Figure Skating Championships next year, which is exciting. It just seems so odd to have just 2 Chinese pairs this year at World. So I'm glad that they will be adding one more next year. Well, that should be exciting to see. What else happened in pairs? Oh, so Vanessa James and Morgan Cyprus of France. So, this is a storyline. They finished 5th overall, but they were so far behind. After the short program with 2 major mistakes, they were 7th, but then 3rd in the free skates, which balanced to 5th overall. So if you know from my recap yesterday, 2 major mistakes in the short program. They needed to be absolutely perfect in the free, and they were not. Like they doubled their side-by-side jumps, but that was it. So they actually skated the rest of the program really well. And unlike the short program, I felt like they didn't let the mistake in the free affect their performance, their actual performance. That was good. They fought. They were still kind of sexy, and they looked like they were fighting for the title despite the mistake. Unfortunately, just not enough points. It puts you too far behind. They did skate earlier in the group, and yeah, this goes back to day one and thinking how that bad crash between Mateo and Vanessa really affected both pairs in their performances in the actual competition. I saw the video finally of the collision on Twitter and it looked pretty bad. It was a pure accident though, but that's what can happen when it's a crowded warm up session and two skaters are skating backwards. I mean, everyone just has to be really careful. I think they're all going to be okay in the long run, but I'd have to say I think that they were a little shaken up, at least in the short program. But Vanessa and Morgan, we will not see the end of you. We thought this was your season to be world champions. I even thought that as well. But hey, you won every other competition this season, so maybe next year. And then we have, let's see here, sixth place, Alexandra and Dmitry. They had, I believe it was the Nutcracker Free program. Also really well skated. They're very dainty and precise, and they're very, let's see, what's the right word? They're perky, they're very youthful, and they're very excited to be skating. I think they had an emotional reaction after their free program performance, which is really nice to see, especially from a Russian pair. And I think they have a good future ahead of them. But, nothing extraordinarily special about their free skate, in my opinion, except that they were very exuberant and positive. They were radiating positivity from the ice. That was cool. Then we have Kirsten Moore Towers and Michael Marinero in seventh place, which was a disappointment because they were in fifth place after the short. Not just in fifth, they were really a few points away from being on the podium. And dare I say it, I think Michael Marinero made a lot of the mistakes. Not all of them, but he was struggling with his jumps. And that was really unfortunate. You could tell that the two of them were really, really down on themselves after they skated, and they were not happy in the kiss and cry. They really wanted to come back. It had been kind of an up and down season for them. Actually, probably more down than up. They did not even qualify for the Grand Prix final in Vancouver, so they missed out on a great opportunity to skate in front of a home crowd. They came back in four continents. They were second, but they were so close to winning that it was kind of an upset for them. And yeah, they just could not continue the high tide onto Worlds. I think they still have a lot of training to work on. I think a lot of people talk about Michael Marinero's posture when he lifts up Kirsten for those lifts, and I'd agree. I sometimes the way he lifts her up is a little sketchy for me. I get a little worried, but whatever works for them. And also their triple twist. I would like to see someone rework that technique with them because it doesn't really go straight up high. She kind of goes up and curves, so they lack the height, and it's almost like they barely get 3 rotations in. So I'd like to see that kind of reworked for the next season. But I wish them the best. Well, maybe next time. And then we have Nicole and Matteo in 8th from Italy. I saw their skates. They were fine, just a few small mistakes in both the short and the long. Actually, I think a major one in the short, unfortunately. And then we have, in 9th place, Ashley Kane and Timothy Leduc of the United States. And thank you, Jesus. They won back 2 spots for American pairs, which we desperately needed. But imagine the amount of pressure on them to place in the top 10, which can actually be kind of hard for American pairs. And they did it. And what's most impressive to me is not the fact that they finished in 9th place, that they made the top 10. It's that they made the top 10 with a fall in each program. So that means that the program component marks were going up. Some of their levels also increased as well. I think They did an amazing job reworking their triple twist. It's nice and high, and they received a higher level on it for the free skate. And so that's really what held them back at Four Continents. So it's nice to see that change. And what was cool to see as well was that Ashley Kane did not give herself such a hard time for making the mistakes, because that's what she's done in the past. So I like this new perspective that she has on competing. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they had such a bad fall back in December at their Challenger Series event in Croatia. Like I said, I think with Kanishka in our nationals preview is that maybe it was a blessing in disguise. But kudos to them. I'm really happy. They deserve all the success coming their way, and I hope they have the support of the USFSA, the American Skating Federation, for next season, because this is a team that needs to be propelled, supported, and advanced, and they need help doing so. So USFSA, get on it. Skate America, 2 Grand Prix assignments, all the good stuff. And then in 10th place, we have Miriam and Severin. I'm not going to say the last names because I would butcher them, from Austria. And they were really, really enjoyable pair to watch. Some struggles, obviously, but again, taking into the consideration the season that they've had, they had one of their coaching members pass away. So it's really been a tough season for them. And it's nice to see them place in the top 10 here at the World Figure Skating Championships. And I will end with actually the 12th place finishers, Evelyn Walsh and Trent McCod, because this is their first time at the World Figure Skating Championships, and they did so good. They have a few things to work on, but they are a relatively new pair, and this is an amazing experience for them to have. To represent Canada at the World Figure Skating Championships so early in their partnership. So kudos to them. They're just going to continue to improve next year. I have a good feeling about it. So that is pairs. Now let's go on to men. Oh my gosh. So I watched the men's competition live, and wow. So first, let's talk about the highlight, which happens to be Nathan Chen of the United States in first place with a huge score, 107.40. Woo! Man, that's so good. And he has such a high lead because Jason Brown from the United States is in second place, which first, that's whoa. And the score is 96.81. So there's over a 10-point deficit between the two. Let's just talk about that. So Nathan Chen, no big deal. Quad lutz, quad toe, triple toe combination, triple axel looked nice. It was fun, short program. He did have to save the landing on his quad lutz though, but thankfully he was able to. He really performed. I liked his smile, his charm, his spins were fast, and even his triple axel looked better than it had in the past. So just kudos to him. I'm so happy for him. And then Jason Brown, we all know his story, does not do a quad in the short program. His goal is to skate totally clean and to maximize the grade of execution marks because he does everything else so well. Triple axel looked on point, his triple combination, and gosh, Jason Brown, I love his short program too. Love is a bitch. Yes, I love saying that. It's actually part of a mix CD in my car. Let me look at the results a little more. Let's see, Jason Brown, program component marks. So let's talk about this. 46 seems to be the magic number for program components, which is interesting. I don't think they all need to be so similar. Nathan Chen, PCS 46.42. Jason Brown, 46.15. Yuzuru Hanyu in third place, 46.71. So Yuzuru has the highest out of those three. And then Shoma Uno, has 44.89. He's in sixth place. I'm not going to say what I think the program component marks should be because I don't know, but I'm not sure they should all be so similar. I mean, Nathan and Jason, those two are really good skaters, but they're very different skaters, and I'd imagine that Jason would have the edge on artistry over Nathan. I mean, Nathan, he could beat anyone in tech, so that's just something to think about. Yeah, so let's talk about Yuzuru Hanyu of Japan In third place, the biggest shock was that he popped his opening quad attempt into a double Salchow. So that was 0 points. It holds you back that much. That being said, everything else was still done so well. But when Nathan Chen is doing two quads cleanly, there's very little room for error. And it's interesting that the program component marks are practically the same. So otherwise, yeah, I enjoyed Yuzuru's program too. So let's move on to fourth place. This was an interesting one. Vincent Zhou of the United States. Not only is he in fourth, but he is like less than a point behind Yuzuru Hanyu. I I don't know what kind of world we were in yesterday. It was crazy. It was odd. It was different. I'm not used to it. Vincent Zhou in fourth at the World Figure Skating Championships after the short program. Sorry, I'm being repetitive, but I just can't get this out of my mind. He was able to have such a high score because he did two quad jumps in his program. One actually was called under rotated. I believe it was the quad Salchow. Let me take a look here. Yeah, the quad Salchow, so the quad Lutz toe was clean. So if the quad Sal was called clean, then he would have been ahead of Yuzuru Hanyu, which is interesting. Program component marks a little lower, understandably, actually quite a bit lower. It's 41 instead of 46. So Vincent needed those two quads. Ooh, man, the long program is going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. I'm excited to talk about this one from Italy, Matteo Rizzo. He's had a really good season, won his first Grand Prix medal, and also medaled at the European Championships, and he won the Winter Universiade competition not too long ago. Sorry, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But his short program is so easy to watch because he's such a beautiful skater. Everything flows really well, and he has a nice power on his jump. It's not too much power, it's just enough, and great speed, flow across the ice. Everything looks easy, and he looks like he enjoys skating. He continues to smile throughout the program. That's what I really like, and I know his long program is good too. I saw it at Europeans and also at the Winter Universiade competition. So excited to see it. It's nice to see representation from Italy in the men's competition. That was cool. Shoma Uno, woo, also had some mistakes. Not only did he fall on his quad flip attempt, but it was also called under rotated, so major loss of points there. And also only did a quad toe double toe combination. Also, as I mentioned earlier, program component marks a little lower. I always like Shoma's programs. They're all kind of similar, to be honest. And same could be said with Yuzuru Hanyu. But he's really known for saving the landings on those jumps. They don't always look pretty, but it just couldn't happen with the quad flip, unfortunately. And then in seventh place, I'm really excited about this one from France. It is Kevin Amos, 88.24 is his score. And it was nice to see him completely full on attack his short program. It was so good. Let me remind you all what his elements were. So quad toe, triple Lutz, triple toe, triple axel. It was actually, I think you all should go watch Matteo and Kevin Amos. Those are some newer and upcoming skaters that we should all pay attention to. They're so good. Michael Brzezina, I do remember him. He had a really solid skates. And then Boyang Jin in ninth. Unfortunately, he was looking for something much better. Boyang is from China, really wants to get another spot for China in the men's next year. So he needs to finish in the top 10 after the free skates. So let's hope that can be done. But yeah, he fell on his quad Lutz attempt. And Boyang Jin, he's someone that his program component marks are much lower than the other guys, and rightfully so, because he's really not an artist at all. His edges are really shallow. A lot of crossovers to get the same kind of speed that some other male skaters get. But yeah, otherwise, I think he has a good long program, so I'm excited to see that. And then in 10th place, we have Mikhail Koliada. It was actually a real bummer for him to be in 10th after the short because he did skate in the last group and had no quad. I think he attended to do some, but they popped. At least they were triples, but the amount of points is just not enough to be up within the top five. So we'll see how he places after the long program. And then I wanted to give some additional shout outs. The first one will be to Julian ZGE, one of my favorite male skaters. He's from Malaysia. He barely made the cut to qualify for the free skates, but he had an amazing short program. Like that was good for him. No quad, so that's why his placement is so low, but everything was done really well, and that's a big deal because he had a poor showing at Four Continents. Also, Junwon Cha of Korea, really unfortunate for him. At least he did qualify for the free skate, but he is in 18th place, so we'll just see how everything goes. So everyone, I think that's all for now. I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.